Good morning. It's Wednesday, October the 11th. It's Anthony with Signature Roofing. We're at the home of Mr. Abeloran in Burlington, New Jersey, 28 Manchester. And we were out here a couple weeks ago to do the inspection initially. And just to show you the architecture, they're twin homes, so it's all twin architecture. And each home is basically separated by two planes. You have one and two on the front side, and then same on the back side. There are no garages, just this little window dormer here. So just to hop back on this first plane, which is where we got onto the roof, just going to show you the only ones that we chalked out are the ones where you can see really heavy creasing, right? And mind you that we weren't really told the condition of the roof when we were called out. We were told that shingles were missing. On the front side, we didn't see any of those, just this, heavy creasing. Another thing I'll call to your attention, you can see these shingles here. These shingles are also failing, right? I could see that creasing. It's just not as significant as on the ones that were chalked out. So a lot of these shingles are failing, even ones that I didn't chalk out. You'll take notice the only ones that we really chalked out were the ones that are very significantly creasing, that can be seen basically just standing directly overhead. So on the front side, you had that one missing, which is what we assume the homeowner was referring to. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12, 13, and 14, which are all heavily creased and wind damaged. And then when you go on to the right side, the separated plane, you have the same thing on the window dormer. You can see the heavy creasing. This is probably the most significantly damaged one, but these are lifted as well and damaged. You can see the creasing here and here. So you have a lot of wind damaged shingles that are creasing and lifted, and some that have altogether failed, or at least one that had blown off. But when you get onto the backside, we understand what the homeowner's concerns were. On this backside, the interesting thing about that, you'll notice this home here, right? So this home has panels on the front side and the back side. But when you get on this roof, by far and away, the more brittle side is the front side. That's the more malleable side. I didn't look at a compass, but I would assume the front side would be the more sun-driven side. You could see the positioning of the sun right now. And this side is definitely the side that sits in heavier sun all day. Again, on that home, you only have use of that front plane right there. So they got them on the back because you only have use of that one plane right there. However, the more sun-driven side is the front side. So what you have on the back side is the same symptom as the front, except you have a shingle that's more brittle on the front. So on the back side, you have the same symptoms. The only difference is when these shingles on the front side are being damaged by wind, they're just lifting and folding back because they're very malleable. They're a lot more brittle than what's on the back. The backside still is more robust, the shingle. It's a lot more sturdy. So what happens is when wind comes and lifts it that way, they simply snap off. And you see that has happened in several areas. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So as you can see, it's pretty well spread throughout the roof. The recommendation on this should be simple. Really, the only way to rectify or remedy the roof would be to fully replace it. The issue with trying to make repairs, number one, when it's this widespread, it's just too many repairs to make. It's beyond repairable. It needs to be replaced. But also what I would say is that on the front side, you have a shingle that's very malleable. And when you go to replace shingles that are either completely failed or compromising, the only way to get to the non-exposure of the failing shingle right, is to scrape up or get under the exposure of the next higher layer of shingle. And in many cases, that layer is not failing. So what you're doing is causing more referred damage by trying to scrape those up to repair the ones underneath. When we see that done, we go back in areas where the repairs are intact, but the entire areas surrounding them have been destroyed with referred damage. And then I would say, as far as the backside, to even attempt to try to make those repairs, you would wind up doing the same thing that you see happening with the wind. You would essentially attempt to pick up the next layer of shingles exposure to get to the damaged shingles non-exposure. And when you attempted to do that, you would simply just break the shingle right off. So again, our recommendation, what we told the homeowner, the only way to really rectify this would be to, tear it completely off and replace the roof. In fact, any roofer that's been at it for a while with any bit of decency knows if you're offered the opportunity to make these type of repairs, you wouldn't. For two reasons. One, you couldn't own that work. You couldn't guarantee the work because you're not having an opportunity to do a new install. You're going in and you're basically installing new product, and you're, counting on the fact that the old product that's already in place is going to hold up against, whatever activity, whatever mechanical things are done when you make those repairs. A good roofer knows you could cause more damage than you could help, so you wouldn't make that type of repair. You tell the homeowner the only way to properly rectify this is to replace the roof.